All right, so we should be good now?
I think we're great.
Awesome. All right, well, welcome everybody. We are now on the beginning of week 4 of our class, Foundations of Instructional Design for Educators. So we're glad that all of you that are joined in were able to join us. It's always nice to know that there's people in on the live version of this, so that it's not just us talking to each other. But so we appreciate you joining in. So I just wanted to start off with this quote right here. You will never know your limits unless you push yourself to them. So I think it's been really awesome. All of the discussions and the assignments that we've done so far, you've all done a really great job. And so I just wanted to tell you, good job for pushing yourself to do those. I've been really impressed, and I know that this is a lot of commitment to do these. So just keep at it because I know this will pay off for you doing this technology endorsement. So good on you all. Way to go. Okay, just as a reminder for online etiquette, when you join in the WebEx room, if you'll just mute your mic, and then if you do need to communicate, unmute or type in the chat window. And one or the other of us will kind of be watching that chat window so that we can see, and answer your questions and get to you with the communication. So anyway, just keep us posted there, but just your etiquette is to mute your mic. And you should see those as you move your mouse across your screen. You should be able to see those tools just kind of sitting down here at the bottom of your screen. That's where you can see where your mic is to mute it. Okay, so this week's work, there's a reading, a discussion, and an assignment. The reading is Chapter 1 in Understanding by Design. Your discussion is going to be how your teaching practices align with that philosophy of understanding by design. And I thought it was really interesting this week, the reading and how that reflection for myself, how that went. And then you'll also be starting your final project by doing the unit cover page this week. So we'll talk about each of those in just a minute. So as I read through the chapter, this is one of the things that stood out the most to me was that good design is not so much about gaining those technical skills, but it's really about learning and how we can be more thoughtful and specific in our purposes and what that implies for the learning for our students. So I hope that that really also resonates with you, that being thoughtful and being purposeful in what we do to help our students to learn and grow, that is really at the heart of the design that we put together for our students. And as you think about, as you start to think about how your practices align with this design, there was a picture in there, and I just kind of recreated it here, that is the stages of that backward design. So you always want to start out with identifying those desired results. What are your outcomes that you want from what you're going to do? And then determine the evidence that you will accept that will show that you got to those results, that your students were able to get there. And then you plan your learning experiences and your instruction around that. And I apologize for my phone ringing in the background. Sorry about that. Oh, can't win them all, right? It's always something.
We're doing
Hopefully they
great.
will hang up really quick and all the noise will go away. Apologize. Okay, anyway, so just thinking about when you do the discussion, what that will be like in as far as what do you do now and how does that align with this design. And then in the supplemental reading, it has you look at kind of your classroom's physical layout and how that really sends a strong message to your students about your beliefs and values regarding the learning process. And when I read that, I really thought about that, how when I looked at my classroom, what was the message I was sending to my students about what I valued? And then could I change that layout in some way so that that message was really clear that learning is what I value. I want you to be successful in my classroom. And then having the students share in how you design that, I think is really important as well. And not just in the design of the layout of your classroom, but in the design of what you do for your learning activities. And that you include them, that you get their feedback as you go, that's really important that they are included in that design process. And just as a side thing, a lot of people in my school district right now are reading the book Bold School, and we've had the author of that book come out twice now to our school district to do some presentations. And in his book that Weston Kieschnick wrote, Bold School, he talks about his design process, and it's very similar to the backwards design in that you always start with your outcomes first. What is it that you want? What is your result? And then you look at what strategy you're going to use to do that. How are you going to do it? And then what tool might fit your strategy to get the outcome that you want. And then you plan it, and then you look at your plan to make sure that you have enough rigor and enough relevance in that learning activity to make it meaningful for students. So I felt like it really fit. So I'm throwing that in as a little extra side thing that you can take a look at.
Carol, I think it's really cool that you're focusing on students, but I think our classrooms say something to the parents that come into our rooms and the principal and our peers that come in, our PLCs that share our rooms as well too. There's a lot of audiences.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for adding that in as well. So kind of what I came away with after reading the stuff that we were working on this week and just thinking through this whole process is that design is our job. That this is what we do. And just another kind of little side thing, I added a link in here to a video about innovation because I also kind of feel like in this day and age right now that innovation is also our job. And so there's a video clip if you have time later and you are interested in that, you can take a look at it. But this comes from the book Blended by Heather Staker and Michael Horn. And so this little video is actually Michael Horn talking about what is the job that needs to be done at school. And how do we create those experiences for students to meet that job for them. So anyway, just kind of, again, another little supplemental thing that kind of came into my mind as I went through this week's assignments and what we're doing, what we're talking about this week for our topic. Okay, so our discussion is again to reflect on your own teaching practices and how they relate to the principles of understanding by design process. And we just ask that you please stay caught up on the discussions. We understand that life gets in the way and you might be late on things, but if you'll please post your initial discussion, your video post by Sunday, then that gives people enough time to kind of look at it and go ahead and do their replies by Wednesday. So make sure you get in and do that discussion. And I'm kind of excited about this week to kind of hear what you all have to say. Okay, and then your assignment this week, you're going to start out by deciding on a unit that you want to put together. So you'll choose what that topic is for that project. And then I put a link here. This is a link right here on number 2 to the assignment, but it's also in the modules in our course in Canvas, so you can see it there too. But you're just going to fill out page 1 this week, even though there are, I think, 6 or 7 pages to it. So just the first 2 sections, and it's just, this is what it looks like. So it's this 6-page template. You're just going to do page 1, just those top 2 sections that are outlined in red. Right there, that's the sections you're going to fill out this week. So you'll want to pick your topic and then maybe think about some keywords, vocabulary that might need to be known, and just fill in as much information as you can on those top 2 sections. And then make sure you save this document. So once you've clicked on the document, It'll either have you make a copy or you'll need to save it somewhere. And then you're going to continue to work on this document and add to this template each week as part of your assignments. So you'll want to make sure that you've saved it somewhere that you remember where it is so that you can continue to add to it, and then it will be turned in its final form on week 12 of our class. Okay, does anybody have any questions on that particular assignment?
Oh, let's see. There's a chat with all. Give me just a second to see if I can find it. Do you have an example of a finished project so we can see an idea of where we are going?
Oh, that's a good idea. I don't have one, but I'm sure I could come up with one. What about you, Tony? Do you have any from
Yes,
previous classes?
I don't have it right here at my fingertips, but I'm going to make a note and I will put it in the announcements in our UEN class. Does that sound okay?
Perfect. Yep, that'll be great. So yeah, we'll make sure we get an example of one so that you have an idea of what it is we're asking for. Awesome.
Another, and this is not a question necessarily, Carol, but maybe a suggestion. Gosh, kill two birds with one stone, guys. You're writing lessons all the time. You're writing units all the time. Don't create a unit that you're not going to use. Use a unit that you're using and infuse it with these technology components. Use this design to create a unit or tweak a unit that you have already.
Perfect. Yes. Okay, any other questions? Okay, let us know if you have any questions. And again, I just want to reiterate that just try to stay caught up if you can. We know that life happens and things happen. I've had a few people in my class that have had kind of some significant things happen too that they were late. If you just email us or text us or call us, just let us know, hey, I'm going to be late this week, or I might be out for a couple weeks. The main thing is to stay up on the discussion posts. If you can stay caught up on those. If not, it's not the end of the world. You can always go back and post. For me, late is okay as long as everything is in by the end. But the discussion is hard to have if people are really late on the discussion. So try to keep up with that if you can, and then just let us know if you're going to be late on anything. All right, were there any more questions?
I'm not seeing any in the chat, Carol.
Okay. And I haven't heard anybody speak up, so. All right, so just remember that you can contact us anytime. So here's our information again, and for each of you in your sections, you should have that information at the beginning of your class on the homepage. So just please let us know if there's anything that we can help you with. If you have questions on something or you're not sure about something, just drop us a line, let us know. We'll make sure we get back to you. I know we all try to stay caught up on grading homework as well. Sometimes we get a little behind too. So, but we try to stay caught up. So hang in there with us, and great job so far. I think it's been excellent. Okay, I haven't seen any more questions or heard anybody. So I think that's it for this week.
Wonderful. That is wonderful. I concur with everything that Carol said about the quality of the work. It's just been great. And I love the discussions. I love connecting with you, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to participate. Brandon, unfortunately, didn't make it, but please, those of you that are working with Brandon, please reach out to him if you have any questions or concerns.
All right.